Hello, I am Minecraft Phenom 08 and welcome to the 28th episode of my second 1 billion iron ingot challenge. In today's episode, I'm going to set up a couple new fission reactors from the mod NuclearCraft. Now, I already have two of them all set up, and they are the bottom one down here and then this one right here. I have two more, and they are here and up there. They are exactly the same dimensions as the other two reactors. And they will be using different fuels. So this first one uses TBU Oxide fuel, which is one of the lowest powered fuels. And then up here we have LEU 235 Oxide. Originally this was LEU 233, but I changed it to LEU 235 Oxide. And so the fuels I'm going to be using today, and I already have these configured, I already have the reactors plumbed up and everything, is LEU 233 Oxide for this reactor. And then this reactor up here will be LEP or LEN 236. So this one creates actually less heat than the uranium reactor that I have on the second floor here. And then this uranium reactor, which is not set up yet, this fuel actually uses or produces a little bit more heat than the LEU 235 oxide. I believe the 235 oxide produces 62.5. So let's look that up real fast. LEU 235 oxide. Whoops, that's HEU. My bad. So yeah, 62.5 versus the 75 that this produces. So this reactor is going to be a little bit hotter than the one downstairs, so I'm going to have to watch it. So let's get cracking on this. And by the way, the plumbing for these two reactors up here, the third and fourth floor reactors that I'm going to be working on today, is very, very much the same as the plumbing for the second level reactor. So if you want to watch me plumb a reactor, I've just watched one of the last episodes that I've done. I've just done that off camera for these two reactors. So let's get started. First off, I need some reactor cells. And I actually have some math done as to how many reactor cells I should be using, or actually the number is how many reactor cells I cannot go above per reactor. And that's because I only produce a certain amount of the uranium-233, and I only produce a certain amount of the Neptunium, both of the 236 and 237 variants that I need to make the fuels. And actually I should probably go over the recipes real fast. So the LEU 233 fuel is recipe like this. It's 233 oxide with 238s, and the 238s are just normal. And then for the low enriched Neptunium fuel, the LEN fuel, it's just 236, and then the rest of them are 237s of the Neptunium, that is. So this first reactor, I can use up to 330 reactor cells. So let's go ahead and grab some reactor cells here. I'm not sure how many I think what I have right now is 320, if I remember right. I think that's what 5 stacks is. Anyways, let's also grab some coolers. I'm going to need some cryothium coolers, I know that. Maybe some redstone coolers, not super sure about that. Maybe some lapis coolers, also not super sure about that. Let's get started. So, and you know what, maybe some tin coolers as well. So the back wall and the front wall are going to be a little bit different. Let's find the true middle here. So I think it would be one above that block actually. So right there. So I think I'm going to go with a grid pattern like I had before. And you know what? I'm going to actually do a simplified grid for this reactor. And if I actually am a little low on the heat production, which would mean that I could actually produce a little more power, I can always use moderators. I have not used moderators yet, but if I use, for example, actually let's just look at moderator. If I use blocks of graphite here between reactor cells, I can get more heat and more power. So if I need the design to make a little more power, I can just replace some cryothium coolers with these graphite blocks. So let's go ahead and install some of these guys. Every other block is where I'm going to have my grid kind of. So okay, so it looks like each level of my grid is going to have something like 25 And I did that wrong. I got rid of the wrong one. Come on, get in there. Okay, so yeah, 25. It'll be a 5x5 grid. My reactor cells will be right next to these lapis blocks in all of these locations. And then along the back wall, or between the lapis coolers, I can actually do tin coolers. So I should probably do that here in a second. And unfortunately, how I've done this is a little bit, makes things a little bit difficult. Can I reach that? I don't think I can. But I can now. So there we go. Okay, so do I have all of those? It looks like I do. So like I said, in between all of the lapis coolers, I can do tin coolers. It's basically a pretty simple pattern like this. Can I reach that? I can. Unfortunately, this is kind of a task to actually get all these blocks in where they need to be. It should actually be easier moving forward, though, because of a builder's wand. So I can't do anything along the outsides, I don't think. That's not super problem, though. Let me see. What else can I do on... I might be able to do lapis on the outsides, but I might be able to do something a little bit better. So let's take a look if I can. Exactly one redstone cooler. So that you know what? Actually, I have an idea for something that might be a little more efficient along the outside than just straight lapis. And it's going to involve some redstone and some helium. So let's do... Actually, let's get all these coolers out. I already have helium. Whoops. I'm missing redstone. That's what I'm missing. Okay, so if I do that, I can do a helium here and here. This one needs to actually not be redstone. Okay, so basically what I'm going to do around the edge here is every other block, or every other block connected to a reactor cell is going to be redstone, and then lapis, and then redstone, and then lapis, so on and so forth, all the way around here. Because that will allow me to employ helium blocks, and helium blocks are just really, really good. So obviously that's beneficial if I can do that. Lapis, redstone. That should be lapis. So basically, I can have a pattern like this around the edge, and this will be much better than just straight up having lapis on the outside and then filling this block with tin. Actually, I think I'm lying. It would be better to have straight lapis and tin, except for the corners. Mathematically, it'd be really, really close, because if I use lapis all the way around, I can't do the corner blocks, but if I use redstone and lapis, I can do the corner blocks. So I think the math is close either way. I'm just going to keep it like it is. Also, I think it's a little bit cooler of a design if I do it that way. Okay, so there's the back wall. Let's go ahead and do the rest of it. And basically now I'm just putting these cryo-Theme blocks anywhere between the reactor cells. And let's actually fly up. Okay, so a few blocks here that are going to be a little more difficult to get. Okay, cool. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this pattern across the room. Actually, you know what? Let's close up the reactor and see where we're at heat-wise. That would probably be a really good idea. And then if it looks okay, I'm going to bring the design across the room and see where I'm at after I get to the end. So let's actually get some reactor casing. I think a full stack will do. Okay, so yeah, things look really good so far. So like I said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this design across the reactor and see where I'm at. And once I have that done, I will be right back. I am back with the mostly completed design. Now, if we look at this right now, we would be producing 126,000 RF per tick with a minus 20,000 heat. The thing is, we can bring up the power generation if we also bring up the heat generation, and we can do that with moderators, like I said. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab some graphite blocks. I shouldn't need too many, to be honest. But we'll start out with that, and then we'll go from there. So right now, we are at minus 20,000. Let's break into this thing. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to replace some of these cryothium coolers with graphite blocks. For right now, I'm just going to do a strip of them, and I'm going to see where I'm at after I do that. So there we go. There's a strip. Okay, so that added, what, 5,000 RF per tick, give or take, and yeah, it decimated most of the remaining heat, or yeah, negative heat, but we can do a little bit more. So what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to do 2 strips. I'm going to do this one and then the one above, and that's because I still have this sliver of reactor, so where I can add a little bit more cooling. So I'm going to do that after I add some more graphite blocks. So graphite, graphite, graphite. And this should be pretty awesome. So let's see where we're at now. I knew we'd be positive. I kind of think I can get that down to be negative at this point. If we can't, then I can just remove some graphite blocks, and then we'll be good to go. So right now I'm going to grab my lapis coolers again and my tin coolers. So I already have a bunch of lapis, or a bunch of tin coolers. I need some more lapis coolers though. So let's grab those and let's get started with this. So basically this is going to be the same as it was on the other side, except I'm gonna have to be a little bit careful with how I build this, because I can't really get back to what I've already built. Oh shoot. I should have built up. And I can in the future, but that's okay. So 10 lapis, 10 lapis. And I already screwed up. Okay, so this will need to be 10 lapis. Oh my goodness. I can't get this right. You would think after a little practice here I'd get this right, but apparently not. Where are we at right now? Let's check this again. Are we close? You know what? I'm just going to call this good as it is, because I have it negative. I don't plan to add any more fuel cells or anything. So as it stands, this reactor is going to produce 144,000 RF per tick using far fewer cells than actually I had budgeted for this reactor. So I had budgeted 330 reactor cells, obviously using quite a bit fewer than that, and we are getting a good amount of RF. So what I'm going to do is, I think I'm going to go ahead and turn this thing on. It is hooked up to the power, so that is going into my system. I don't super need the power right now, but I can fix that at the end of the episode. I can add a little bit more power draw. But for right now, let's go ahead and work on this reactor. So very obviously something's wrong downstairs, because it should have more fuel cells than that. So what am I missing here? That's what I'm missing. Ha ha ha. That's better. So I should be getting more fuel now. Basically what this crafter does is it takes the little chunks of Neptunium 237 and 236. It creates the bigger blocks, sends it to this crafter, which then makes the actual fuel. And this over here, this one makes the LEU 233. So yeah, that's how I get the fuel up here. Just basically the same way as I've done before. So yeah, we should have some fuel now. Now for this reactor, I can't use quite as many fuel cells. I only have 175 budgeted. So let me get those real fast. And I need to reorganize my inventory because it's a mess again. Okay, so let's see here. You know what, let's just get rid of everything. Except for the wand, because I know I need the wand. 175, so reactor cell. Okay, so I have 18 more than I need, so that actually makes it pretty easy. I just need to leave 18 in the system. So I can use this many reactor cells, which is fewer than the design in the reactor below. So I think I might actually use more or less the same pattern as I used in that reactor, except I'm going to use more graphite. And that's because the fuel I'm going to be using for this reactor is actually cooler and produces a little bit less power, I believe. So this one's 126. This uranium is 201. So yeah, it produces less power, less heat. So basically I can use more graphite if I do kind of the same pattern as I did there in the other reactor. So I think that's kind of what I'm going to do, because that pattern isn't too hard to make and it seems to work pretty well. So let's grab some lapis. I'm going to need some more lapis coolers, very apparently. Let's grab 2 full stacks of those for right now. I actually feel like, you know what, let's go ahead and grab 3 once it's done. Let's grab some helium. Need a lot more helium. And I don't know why it takes so long. It's just buckets of helium. Oh well. And then 10. I need 10 coolers. I'm going to need more than that of those. So let's grab more of those. And those are crafted awfully quick. So let's do 3 full stacks of each of them. Actually, let's do 4 stacks of lapis, just because I feel like I will need about that many. Okay, so let's get this party started. So like I said, I think I'm going to go ahead and use more or less the same pattern as the reactor I just built, just with more graphite. So before I had 3 strands of graphite. Let's try 7. And I have no good math that tells me that's going to be a good number, but that feels like it could be okay. So let's try 7. Oh, and of course, my cat is creating mayhem, knocking things off the table. Okay, but before we actually get to the graphite and the cryothium coolers, we need to do this back wall. And that doesn't go there. Okay, so the top should be easy. Just do this. And then there's that one row I can't really get to. There we go. If I had like a hover mode, that would be obviously pretty beneficial, but I don't, so that's okay. Okay, so the reactor cells. And then we can do the cryothium coolers next. And I didn't grab any of those. I need those. I'm probably going to need more cryothium coolers than that, so I'm going to go ahead and craft 200 more. That looks good. And come on. Okay, that should be good for right now. So let's actually reorganize things just a little bit. And also I need graphite. Shoot. Okay, so 73. Let's grab a few more than that. If I'm going to actually do 7 rows here, I'm going to need just a bit more than that. So 2 stacks is more than enough. So let's get going. So I think on the left side is where I'm going to do my graphite. So I can do, let's switch that up. I can do graphite here, here. Okay, so that's 5. Actually, you know what? Let's just keep it over here. So there. Those will be my rows of graphite. The rest of it will be cryothium blocks, just like before. Reach. Okay, I was gonna say I'm missing a row, but no, I have graphite blocks over there. Derp. Okay, and now I need to go around the outside just like before. I think I'm gonna use a mixture of the redstone, lapis, and helium. So I need to grab redstone coolers. And let's start off with 2 stacks. So redstone, lapis, redstone, lapis, redstone, lapis, so on and so forth. You get the point. And you know what? I can actually add a little bit of cooling beside these graphite blocks. I'll need to check it out, but since I am installing them right now, I know that there are certain coolers that go beside graphite blocks that I didn't use in the reactor before. But that's okay. That reactor produces quite a bit of power with its given size and its area. So not too concerned about it because obviously it has enough cooling. But this one I might want to add some extra coolers that I didn't have in the design before. Okay, so let's go ahead and do the heliums before I forget. What? Oh my goodness. Aim is poor. Okay, that's close enough to the ground I can just land. Make things easier on myself. Okay, so let's take a look. I know there are blocks that I can put beside graphite blocks. So let's see what they are. What haven't I used? I could use water. I'm probably not going to. Glowstone. 2 moderator blocks. So I can use some glowstone. I know that. Like, I can use glowstone here, here. Heck, I can use glowstone kind of everywhere. So let's grab those glowstone coolers. And those will go... I still can't aim. Still cannot aim. Those can go there. So that actually works pretty well. I just had a thought. I think I'm actually going to move these lines of graphite, because if I move them, I can actually fit one more row of glowstone, which obviously is more cooling, so might as well do that. So if I do that, I can put glowstone there as well. Okay, so what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to take this and I'm going to bring this across the room. I'm going to go ahead and do that off camera because that's going to take a little while. And once I have that done, I will be back to see exactly how much heat, excess heat I have or excess cooling I have, and then I'll adjust the reactor from there. So I'll be back when I have this thing built out. Okay, so I ran into a slight complication, which I kind of figured I would run into. I actually ran out of reactor cells before I got to the end here, and that's because of my quota. I did not want to go over my quota, so yeah, the reactor isn't all the way to the wall here, but let's go ahead and cap it, and let's see where we're at as far as heat goes. So, okay, we are well under budget, so what we can do is we can add more graphite, which is perfect. So let's go ahead and add 2 more lines of graphite here. And then we can also add some glowstone since, I mean, we're already in here. So let's go ahead and do that. And then we'll see where we're at again. Okay, so this will be glowstone, graphite, glowstone, graphite. Not actually glowstone, just glowstone coolers. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so we can do that a couple more times at least. So obviously we'll do it here. Let's do something like 3 more lines. I think that will, and I just messed that up because I needed to build them simultaneously. Okay, like I said, 2 more lines here. So we'll do this, and then the one above. You know what? Let's push it and let's do 3. So we'll also do this one. Am I actually almost out of glowstone coolers? I am, at least on me. Shouldn't need too many more. That should be plenty. I'm kind of thinking this will be about our limit. Okay, so let's try this one more time. Okay, we're a little bit positive, so that's not a problem. We can just take out some graphite. Kind of do the reverse here. So let's go ahead and take this row out here and replace it with the cryo-theme blocks. And I think that should be good. If it's not, it'll be really, really close. Okay, so perfect. That looks good to me. So my quota was 175 fuel cells. I hit that quota. Perfect. So yeah, let's turn this bad boy on. And one last thing I need to do after I get rid of all of this crap in my inventory, I need to set up my automatic processing downstairs to process the used fuels here. So I have an additional 144,000 plus 96,000, so that's about 240,000 RF per tick extra. So obviously that's pretty fantastic. Let's get our depleted fuel, and I should have, yes, there it is, Alien fuel, LEU 233. We just need to set this up right here, and then bada bing. And then we also should probably, I should probably go ahead and set up the storage buses for the new things that I may be producing. So let's look up Tiny Clump. Okay, so I probably didn't have this before. Let's make sure I have all the plutonium oxides here. 241, 242. And then let's go downstairs and see what we have. Okay, so this is Neptunium 237. What? Okay, this should be plutonium 238. I don't have that yet. That's cool. This is 239. This will be 241. This will be 242. So there we go. Let's set this to positive 1,000. this will be, actually, let me make sure. No, there's 241, 242, and then 243. So this will be 241, 242, 243, and then positive that. Okay, so yeah, this needs to be reset. Oh shoot, I did that wrong. This should be the Oxide variant. Should be this right here. Okay, so I'm gonna have to reset this again. Not really sure why it needs to be reset like that, but whatever. It doesn't really make that big of a deal. Okay, so is there anything else? I know I have that set up. Have that set up. That's set up. That's set up. Set up. I think. Oh, here's some 242 oxide, so that should go right here. And looks like that needs to be reset, but that's okay. I think that's just about it, though. Fantastic. So, yeah, in today's episode, I set up 2 new fission reactors. They are actually set up pretty similarly to each other. One has a little bit more graphite than the other, but that's okay. This one has more fuel cells than the other one as well. It produces more power, but they both produce a good amount of power. I mean, the lesser of the two produces 96,000 hours per tick. That's pretty fantastic in my opinion. But anyways, if you liked today's episode, definitely give me a like. If you enjoy watching automation and modded Minecraft, that's typically pretty much what I do, so definitely consider subscribing to my channel if you haven't already. Anyways, signing off, I am Minecraft Phenom 08, and I will see you next time.